Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kakodash, the one the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well. Salutation to the Akim preaching the truth in all sincerity around the Arataza. You know, this is another lesson. Lord will edifying to the flock. Brother Yaka here from Trinidad, GMS. Just come to edify the flock was in my thoughts and you know, say I'll do a video through the spirit. Because seeing all these things happening and noticing that what is not of the Lord in this time will not come to naught, right? Seeing from my own self, being in the truth, how much ever years and getting the understanding from the Lord and seeing that everything coming to naught that is not of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is like wonderful. You know, it's like it's wonderful. Not only the judgments taking place on the world, but also the sifting. And I think I'll begin with that precept. Let's bear with me here. Alright, I believe that is the book of Amos. Look at that real quick. So back here. Alright. This book of Amos chapter 9 and I believe verses 9. Right, and it says, "For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth." So, when the Lord say He will sift the house of Israel, He is talking about the elect, you know, the 144,000 chosen. The Lord say He will sift them, and not the least grain shall fall upon the earth. That is an exemption. That is a sealing. The Lord sealing that mark in your forehead. Right? The scripture also mentioned that. Right? He's gonna seal them with the mark of exemption. So now you understand that. You understand that the Lord is taking away the righteous from the sinners. And we understand we also call sifting when the Lord takes away the just, He takes away the filthy, right? And that's what happening. That's why we urge brothers to get in line, get in the spirit, do the right thing. Because the Lord taking away the filthiness from this place. You're seeing brothers falling out. Right through you're seeing this brother is no longer in GMS. Right through you're seeing folly, basically. Right through you're seeing folly, and you're seeing that men who once stood stiffly is now being called reprobates because they're doing reprobate shit. Things that not of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You can't be representing the Lord and then doing this kind of madness. Right? It's something that we see. And when we observe it, we observe it through the spirit. And it's not right away. Brothers get rebuked, yes. But after the rebuke, you're supposed to shape up yourself, sharpen yourself, and get right. Get right to the Lord. But when you don't do these things, and you see rebuke as hate, and you see rebuke as just brothers hating on you, others want to tell you something, that means the spirit can't be working with you. Because you're not paying attention to where the scripture says, you're not paying attention to what the scripture say, if He love you, He'll chastise you. You understand? And even the scripture where it says, I will let the righteous smite me. Why will let the righteous smite you? Because the righteous going to lead you down the right path. The righteous going to tell you the right thing to do. The righteous not going to make you see you going off and not leave you. If you leave a man in his wickedness, he's going to be wicked and he's going to increase in wickedness. And then soon, with the scripture say, a little leaven of the whole lump. Soon you're overtaken in leaven and you can't do anything about it. You're being sifted out. And that is it. Then you see this brother is no longer in GMS all over again. Right? So, the Lord is sifting. And there's a great sifting taking place. Where you don't want to be a part of that. Scripture says pray always. I'm going to get a precept for that one time. Right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and 36. And it says, "Watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." But thinking about it, if you had to be accounted worthy to escape the things to come to pass, that means you had to be a chosen of the Lord. That means you have to be chosen. Because you're not going to be accounted worthy if you're not chosen. You understand? So you have to watch. First thing it says, watch ye therefore, and pray always. You will gain more and more evil. And to escape the things that come in, is the Lord had to do it. Scripture said that as well. It says, if it hadn't been the Lord, let me get that. Right. It's the book of Psalms chapter 121 or 124 and verse 2. Right, this is Psalms 124 and 2. "If it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick, when their wrath was kindled against us." Right? Straight to the point. When their wrath kindled against us, which is soon to come, because there's Revelation 12 and 12, it mentioned that. Revelation 12 and 12, it says, "Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath." So when men was kindled wrath against us, we would have been overtaken quickly. And this is Esau talking about, coming down with great wrath. So when his wrath is kindled, which is going to be kindled heavily, because he's going to make this MOTB mandatory, we live in any dregs right now. And when the MOTB becomes mandatory, if it hasn't been Yahweh Hashem Yahushai who guiding us, clothing us, helping us not take this thing, when they rose up against us, then you're going to take this thing. And you know what's the scary thing? It's scary that you preaching all this time, doing all this work, and then coming down to the end, you sort of slip away. You understand? And you end up taking the mark of the beast. Or you see a brother who was always in it so long, because that the faith booster is watching our brothers as a body fighting this thing and doing it for long. That's like the apostles, the elders and the apostles. They are a serious example. They holding on for the longest while. They are a faith booster to us. But what about they that dwindle? You understand? They are examples. Right? So thinking about it, when a man fall off, he's an example what the Lord could do to you, because they start speaking bullshit. They start calling upon other God names. They start looking weird. So you just thinking about that, you understand a lot that here what's going on. The only thing keeping me in this shoot is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And in order for me, for the Lord to not be removed from me or stay far from me, is to me to do what he says. Baruch 4 and 4. Happy are we for the things that are pleasing unto the Lord and known unto us. Right? So that makes us happy. Secondly, the scripture say secondly, the scripture also mention Yahushua saying it. He said, "For the things the Lord never leave me alone, for I do always the things that please him." Right? So that's something that is another faith booster. But when brothers fall off, it is kind of make you feel that type of way that, wow. And the Lord say, what? Pray without ceasing. Oh my God. Right? 1 Thessalonians 5:17. And it reads, pray without ceasing. You understand? Straight to the point. Verse 18. Now let's read it. It says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai concerning you. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying." Right? Something keeps the middle. It says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will." Right? The will. I'm going to Baruch, because I quoted it earlier on Baruch 4 and 4. Where it says, "O Israel, happy are we for the things that are pleasing to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel." So now, these two things are Yapa within itself. Okay, first it says, the things that are pleasing to the Lord are known unto us, which is the will of the Lord, right? is known unto us. He tells us. Scripture said the secret things he revealed nothing. He do nothing but reveal his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So everybody could say what they want, but the Lord is revealing his secrets unto us. Tawada Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Now verse 5 where it says, be of good cheer, my people. The memorial of Israel is also Yapa, because it's mentioning the memorial, which is the dregs. We right now are the only people in the earth that upholding certain stuff. Passover, Sabbaths, the right way, with the moon, keeping the laws them. I'm not saying the laws done away with, we living by grace. Yeah, we living by grace, but if you're trying to keep the Lord commandments, you will keep the laws as well too. Laws could never be done away with. Certain laws, as in the law of sacrifice, Yahushua be not sacrifice for us. Yahushua come and say that. But the thing about it is, we trying to uphold it. We trying to be in the right. We're not trying to do anything wrong to make the Lord to hate it, to load the law. The scripture said they load my law while they yet had liberty. They hate the Lord law while they yet had liberty. They had a chance. They had a fighting chance to keep the Lord laws, but they didn't. What they did was they despised us, and they said all sorts of things about GMS. We the bomb camp. We, GMS this, GMS that. But when you understand it, they hate us because they envy us. Right? They envy us. That's what the scripture say. Pilate said it. Pilate said, I see nothing wrong with this man before they crucify Yahushua. He saw nothing wrong. Right? All he could have seen was that they envied him. And Yahushua said, if they hate you, if they hate me, they're gonna hate you. Because you come in the image of me. You doing the things that I was doing. Prophesying against kingdoms. Prophesying against nations. Telling them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. You understand? And the whole place going wrong. So we constantly bringing it out. And what the scriptures say, I'm going to get that precept. Right? As I mentioned, I'm going to get Isaiah chapter 13. Chapter 13, and I'll read from verse 2. It says, lift up a banner upon the high mountain, which is what banner? The banner is the truth, the Bible. We lifting up that banner, right? Because the Lord commanded us to do it. We lifting it up in this place here, telling them the truth, not the lies, right? Lift up, right? It says, lift up a banner upon the high mountain, which is this world, when predominantly Babylon. Exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that it may go into the gates of the nobles. So it going into the gates of the nobles, which is the elites. You understand? The banking families. Esau. So when it is we preach, or they see we on the street corners, they get mad. You understand? They playing with our videos. They're doing the most because it entered into the gates. So now they had to go to these other camps. Likewise, who rebellious, because they have a lot of rebelliousness in them. So they'll go to them and they will try to get them to go off. And they will catch some. The scripture say they catch some. Right? They pay some. Because you realize certain men take the bag by the way they start to preach after. They start to talk about it like Trump. They start to take out certain things out of the doctrine. They start to say they're not in the truth no more. You understand? They start to go contrary. What is that? Ain't no microchip. You understand? And we know damn well there is a microchip. The microchip already out. Right? So they hate us. And they envy us. Because we preaching the truth. We making it plain upon peoples. We letting it enter into the gates of the nobles. And they mad. You understand? So going back to the video. Going back to the point. What we doing is to prevent ourselves from getting sifted by doing the right thing. because we already know that ain't nothing else going to save you from the impending dangers to come. The dangers to come going to be so great that we know only Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai calling upon them names alone going to save you. And not only that, but living in that image, living in respecting the Lord for who He is. You understand? Being a doer. You was always keeping the Sabbath holy. You wasn't profaning it. You was doing the right thing, basically. And then we get the reward. Right? So these men who want to sell out and do all these sellout acts and commit all this wildness just to get the bag, they could go ahead. We cool on this side here. Right? We're not trying to look for no unity camps. We're not trying to be anyone's friends. We just cool on this side here. Right? We're doing the right thing and we're going to continue excelling in strength together. And even when they break us up, because they think we're not seeing the guillotines. We see the guillotines. We see all the threats. We see they get ready to kill the prophets as in the days are old. But we're not frightened. That's the thing about it. The Lord said He did not give us the spirit of fear, but of a strong mind. You understand? Because that strength in your mind is all you need. Right? Even when the Apostle Paul said it, he said, hey, why try to break my heart? I'm not only ready to go down there, but I'm ready to die. Being ready to die is not just something that you could just say. You understand? It's really something that you have to prove. You understand? Something that brothers going to have to prove in time to come. Right? So it's really these lessons is more exaltation lessons, where we exalt one another and we engage in topics to encourage the brothers to hold on, and also warn them about what could happen if you don't hold on, because that is something serious as well too. What could happen to you if you don't hold on is death. You know, a shame, a great shame covering you. Right? And these things is something real serious. I'm gonna get a precept here. Alright, I'm gonna get a precept here. I think it's Hebrews. It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verses 1. And it reads, therefore we ought to give Salakia. Therefore we ought to give the more earnest heed. Right? We ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let them slip. And think about it. We ought to give the more earnest heed. I mean, going back to serious, right? We ought to give the more serious heed to the things which we have been taught, and lest we make them slip. Because the only way that these things will not slip from you is when you're not in the spirit. Right? That's why the exhortation videos come. To keep brothers in the spirit. And the captains and the big brothers and brothers around, they try to encourage it as much as possible for brothers to stay in the spirit. Right? Knowing at the time, even the Apostle Paul, he said it, you know damn well, that's roughly paraphrasing, you know well that no is not, I don't need to write unto you. Right? The Apostle Paul is expressing it beautifully. He says, I don't have to write unto you, for you know the time that we're living in right now. And if you know what time you're living in, you know that it's time to buck up on your fasting, on your health, you know, buck up on things, pertaining to being in the spirit. Because the whole world getting ready to die and we getting ready to live for the first time. And by how you gonna get ready to live? You gotta do the right thing. You understand? Understand where you're in, count the course, and say, alright, if this is what the Lord wants for me, this is what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna work on myself. Just like how somebody will work in the gym, right? And try the best to get fit. We try our best to get fit right here in the truth. Right? So Lord's will in this lesson that I find wasn't meant to be long. A quick exhortation. Lord's will in it was edifying through the Spirit. Once you call I am La, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of great military and I will well. Salutation to the Aki and preaching the truth to the four corners of the sincerity. Shalom.